What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and happy Monday. Hope you are all well. A big week ahead for Arsenal, and I'm on time, people. I'm letting you know because you always tell me when I'm late, and I've been late more often than not, but I'm on time today. I'm not always there when you call, but Hey, let me not start that anyway. I'm more of a 50 fan than Ja Rule, but he was making hits back in the day, I can't lie, before 50 destroyed him. But listen, big up to everyone. Hope you're well. And we got a lot to talk about. Press conference reaction from Arteta. I thought he was going to Barcelona last night. We'll talk about that. Okay, I did smile a little bit and there was a bit of a dance, but, it didn't go beyond that. No, we'll get into it during the show anyway. But big up to everyone locked in. Hope you're well. Oh, yeah, and it's January, by the way, which means absolutely nothing to Arsenal in the transfer market. To be fair, it means nothing to nobody. This is probably the worst transfer window we've ever seen in the Premier League. This profit and sustainability thing has mashed up the January transfer window. Arteta doing a Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not leaving. He ain't going nowhere, people. It's all mad. Hey, listen, it is what it is. But, bro, apologies. I will get back to you today as well. 100%. Big up, Dud Pistachio. And big up, Nimmovator said, catching you live for the first time this year. But in the office, big up your damn self, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. Where you been the rest of the year, bro? That's my question. Where have you been the rest of the year? But nah, big up yourself for tuning in anyway. Press conference reaction. Obviously, we got a game tomorrow. Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. The Curtis Shaw derby, people. Born in Nottingham. But obviously a Gooner. So we'll talk about that. And obviously we play Liverpool at the weekend as well, which is a massive game. But we got to get past Forest first. We haven't actually beaten them for a while. Thomas Partey will not be in the Arsenal squad tomorrow. Arteta confirmed it in the press conference that Partey is not fit enough to take part tomorrow. So that's a shame. We've obviously been talking about Partey for the last couple of weeks. Will he be available for the Forest game? Partey is not in the squad for the Nottingham Forest game tomorrow. Could possibly be on the bench against Liverpool, but Arteta confirmed he's lacking match fitness at the moment. So it's frustrating to hear that. But anyway, lots to talk about. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be live from 6:30. It's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Forest against Arsenal. I'll be live from 7:30. And listen, man, we have got to get 3 points. If you look at Forest away and Liverpool at home, when you think about what happened before the winter break, I think Arsenal have got to win both of those games if we're talking about title race. Forest away is tricky. It's difficult at the City ground, but they're not as good this year as they were last year. And Liverpool, even though Liverpool are top of the league and they are going to be reinvigorated with the Jurgen Klopp announcement, I think at home we've got to beat Liverpool if we've got any chance. We're 5 points behind them. Liverpool have got Chelsea and Arsenal this week, so this is our opportunity to close that gap. If we can't, then I think we'll be in trouble, that's for sure, if we're talking about title challenges. Listen, big up to Fitz, who said next two games, DNL, Arteta is still our manager after all. He's going for a draw and a loss. Morning, C. Let's get Zidane in, says Jake. Well, I tweeted that, and the reaction was interesting. Let's just say that. Anyway, let's talk. Let's talk about Arteta. News broke last night. Coming out of Sport over there in Spain, which is one of the biggest newspaper articles over there in Spain. The breaking news was that Mikel Arteta has informed his entourage, he's got an entourage with him, that he is leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. There might have been a little bit of a dance and a little bit of a yes. Calm down. I'm joking. Although I'm sort of not joking, but I didn't actually get excited because I didn't believe it was going to be true for a couple of reasons. Number one, are Barcelona going to go for him? I'm not sure. I know Barcelona, they're not known for necessarily going for the top names in world football. They've taken a lot of inexperienced managers over time. But, I wasn't sure with this one. And also, I'm thinking, if you're Arteta's agent, this is absolutely perfect for him to get a new contract. Mikel Arteta has 18 months left on his deal. A link to Barcelona is absolutely perfect for him, because you go, right, I've got 18 months left on my deal. I'm on 8.5 million a season. Barcelona want me. You need to give me a significant pay rise with, a good amount of time on that deal. And that's the reality of the situation. So he will use this to his advantage. I'm convinced he will sign a new contract at Arsenal, because he's making the club money without taking money out the owner's pockets. We're back in the Champions League. We're competing. The fact we're not winning trophies, which is my one problem with Mikel Arteta, as I think it should be with any Arsenal fan, whether you're a fan of Arteta or not. I just don't think that's going to be enough to get him out of the football club. So I think this story isn't true. And obviously, we'll come to the second part of it shortly. Mikel Arteta has absolutely denied it in his press conference that he's going anywhere. So anybody who was excited by this, don't do it. Curtis Fab just tweeted about Arteta, said, Chris, yeah, big up Chris. I actually caught the last part of Arteta's press conference where he did say that, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere, people. So, I think Fab was quote tweeting what he said in the press conference. Interesting thing. And some of you will say, well, this is, the standards are unrealistic, but I'm putting it out there, right? I'm putting it out there, people. I want to know your thoughts on it. It's more of a discussion point than a statement. Xavi is leaving Barcelona, right? Xavi is you could argue, one of the greatest players to play for Xavi. Xavi's one of the greatest players to play for Barcelona, especially in terms of midfielder. Now, Xavi is leaving before they push him out of the door. Barcelona fans are in uproar. He's third in the league. Girona are second. Real Madrid are top. That's unacceptable at Barcelona. So Xavi's walking out at the end of the season. Now, Xavi, number one, is a club legend. I'm not saying he's a great manager, by the way, but he's a club legend as a player. Xavi, last season, won the Spanish title and won the Super Cup, right? So you're talking about a legend of the football club that 6 months ago was lifting the title and was lifting the Super Cup. And because they're third, he's put his hands up and said, I surrender. That's not acceptable. Oh, Girona won, actually, so they're back at the top. Xavi said, third place, not acceptable. I understand this football club. You're going to sack me at the end of the season. Let me take away the pressure. I'm going to walk. I'm going to let everybody know I'm leaving at the end of the season. Calm down. Stop going crazy. I know that third isn't acceptable at Barcelona. High standards, some people would say too high. Some people would say that's the reason they've been so successful over the past few decades and beyond. But I'm looking at it going, Barcelona are going to sack their manager in third place, who won a title 6 months ago. Arsenal giving a new contract to Mikel Arteta in third place. Now, I know Barcelona and Arsenal over the last couple of decades, it hasn't been the same, of course. We have not done what they've done. But what I'm saying is, at a big football club, to be successful, you've got to have high standards. And I know Barcelona and Arsenal have been different, but he's in third, resigning and quitting despite being the holders. This guy's getting a new contract, getting pats on the back. The difference in the standard is different. And Chris, you're spot on. It is down to the owners, which is why I always say, don't buy into this nonsense that the Kroenkes are great owners all of a sudden, because they're not. Have they improved? Absolutely. Just because I'm not fans of the Kroenkes, I'm not blind to the fact that they have improved as owners since becoming sole owners of the football club. The manager spent 227 million in the summer. A lot of that is down to Edu and the manager. But if you give money to the wrong people, it gets spent in the wrong way. And that's the problem. And that is down to the owners. So listen, I'm just saying, the one thing with me, and let me put it out there, I have no agenda against Arteta. I joke about him, Cone Man music. We're going to the top of the world with Cone Man music. It is what it is. But I saw last night on social media, meltdown, panic. No, he can't believe him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool, I get it. You're a fan of him. He's a former player and you think he can be successful. But I feel like with Arteta, he's being celebrated before he's achieved anything. It's like being in a race and thinking you've won the gold medal before you've even crossed the finish line. Like, what makes Arteta such a great manager? I get it. Good ideas, young, good style of football. Cool, no problem with that. But you've got to win trophies to have this sort of cult following for you. I understand Liverpool fans going absolutely crazy that Jurgen Klopp's leaving. The guy's won the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup. I think he even won the Super Cup. He's won everything. So I get Liverpool fans having meltdowns about Jurgen Klopp. He's one of the best managers in Premier League history. But when I see Arsenal fans online, having meltdowns about Arteta, I'm like, bro, he's won one FA Cup in 4.5 years. I don't understand. So, listen, I get it. They want to back their own, and I understand that. Ero said they say he cleared out the deadwood and improved the football. Doesn't any good manager go into a club and the first thing they do is look at the squad and say, him, and him, not good enough, get rid of them? I don't think it's rocket science for a manager to go into a football club and clear out the deadwood. Style of football has improved, but I don't know. And maybe I'm in a minority and maybe I see things the wrong way. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. The whole fan fest around him. I just think you've got to win things. We're Arsenal. We're not Brentford. We're not West Ham. Like, we've won one trophy in 4.5 years. I expect more. We haven't been in a cup final, since winning the FA Cup. But it is what it is. Assassin said, big up Curtis. You know what makes me even sad and furious? Some top gooners were protesting to get rid of Wenger for getting fourth every season. Now they're happy. Now they're happy getting fourth. It makes no sense. I said the same thing. I use this all the time. I was going to the Emirates when they were protesting for Arsene Wenger. Get him out, they were saying. Harsh protests. It was toxic. One of the greatest managers we've ever seen at this football club. Fourth is not a trophy. That's what they used to hold up to Arsene Wenger. Inside the stadium. Fourth is not a trophy. They used to hammer him for saying top four was a trophy. And I agree, by the way. Fourth isn't a trophy. But your standards were way high then. You were protesting against an icon of the game, who I do think needed to go. But that's a club legend, an icon, a man who's got a statue outside the football club. And some of the same fans that protested Arsene Wenger out the football club are now saying, trust the process, he needs another 6 months, he needs another 2 years, another transfer window. And I'm like, make it make sense. I don't know, people. Maybe I'm looking at it from the wrong point of view. Fourth back then was bad. Standards in the Prem were not that high. We should have been up there. We should still be up there. When I was in school, finishing fourth was laughed at. And like I said, I was speaking the other day. Frank Lampard was saying when Chelsea finished second, second was a disaster. They didn't celebrate and go top four. They were having meetings about, managers could be getting sacked, staff members could be getting let go, players were getting sold. Abramovich was in the dressing room saying, I got to sell people. We're not here to finish second. And it all comes from the top, I'm afraid, from the ownership. They're looking to give Arteta 22 years to get it right. These new gen Arsenal fans' standards are in the mud. Big up everyone. Hope your day's gone better than mine. Failed my driving exam and I'm gutted. At least Curtis is live, so that's comforting. You know what I say, Cope? You're one more driving test closer to the one when you pass your test. That's the reality of the situation. Some people pass the test first time. I know people who've taken 5 driving tests. So they had to fail the first 4 to get the one where they pass. So don't worry about it, man. Bun that driving instructor, man. I remember doing my driving test and he had a screw face. He had a real screw face, old guy. And I was thinking, you're under pressure anyway. And I remember doing the test and I'm thinking, I've got to lighten the atmosphere here. This is too strict. I feel like I'm in an exam, like my GCSEs or something. So I did the typical thing. I said, do you like football, mate? He goes, yeah, I love football. I goes, who do you support? He goes, West Ham. And I don't know who was the manager at the time. It was a long time ago. But whoever the West Ham manager was, I basically spent the next half an hour talking about West Ham. This guy was talking so much about West Ham. I don't think he barely knew what I did during the driving test. He started speaking passionately about West Ham. I just kept talking about it. He couldn't stop. By the time I pulled back up and parked the car up, he was like, yeah, well done, pass your test. I don't think the guy even knew what had happened. So, yeah, don't worry about it anyway. Don't worry. You'll get there. You'll get there. Trust the process. Mikel Arteta, 4 more years, couple more driving tests and you'll be there. Big up yourself. Maybe distract him. Ask him what team he supports. Waffle on about football. You'll get there. Don't go anywhere. Anyway, let's talk about the second part of Mikel Arteta. He's denied it all and he's fuming. He's so angry. Fabrizio has tweeted Mikel Arteta on the links with Barcelona and his decision to leave Arsenal in June. He says, fake news, totally fake news. I don't know where it's coming from. It is totally untrue and I'm really upset. I could not believe it. No source or nothing. It's like getting your dinner as a kid, wasn't it? If there was no sauce, you just weren't happy. There had to be some ketchup, a little bit of barbecue, maybe a bit of sweet chili on the side. You know what I mean? You need that sauce. Man is distraught and Curtis digs out, trust the process. Listen, I'm uplifting the spirits. I thought I gave him solid advice there. Distract the driver a little bit. You'll be well on your way. No ketchup, no sauce. Yeah, I bet he's fuming. Listen, he rang his agent last night and said, listen, first of all, how do we manage this? If I'm his agent, I'm speaking to Mikel. I say, listen, Mikel, first of all, you go in the press conference tomorrow and you act like you're fuming. I'm so annoyed. I'm so angry. It's fake news. Why would they? I'm so angry I'm being linked to the Barcelona job. No, you're not angry that you're being linked to the Barcelona job. Because guess what you're going to do? You're going to use the Barcelona link to get your agent to talk to Edu and all the owners of Arsenal. You're going to say, well, mate, 18 months left on my deal. Xavi's leaving in the summer. What are you saying? I need a pay rise. I need to be on 10, 11 million a season. They'll walk straight into it as long as he gets top 4. That ticks all the boxes they need. They'll give him 10, 11 million pound a season for 3 or 4 years. He'll sign a new contract and the process will continue for the next year, 2 years or 3 years. So let's get it twisted. He's not fuming about the source. If you're in a job and you're on 12, 14 pound an hour and you get offered a job from a massive company with a pay rise, you're not going to be furious, are you? You're going to go in the manager's office and use it to get a pay rise. So let's be real. That's just the reality of the situation. If you've got a missus and you walk down the street, and another girl gives you the look, you're not fuming about it, are you? You think, you know what? It's going to keep my missus on her toes just to let her know, you know what I mean? There's interest out there if you ever drop your guard, you know what I mean? Just to let her know. So, Mikel, you're not furious about it at all. You're going to get a new contract. The PR will continue at Arsenal. And when we win 2 or 3 games in a row, when it gets to about February, March, when we've all calmed down a little bit, maybe the next international break, they will announce the new contract. The fanboys will be twerking online, and people like me will be moaning about it, saying 3 more years. It is what it is. But we are where we are. This club is predictable. We knew we was going to get to January, talk about Ivan Toney every day and not sign him. We knew that was going to happen. We knew Eddie Nketiah wouldn't be sold to Crystal Palace. We knew what was going to happen. And this is the same thing we knew. I saw this story last night. I said, I'm not even going to tweet about it. There's no point even tweeting about it. Because it ain't happening. It ain't happening. He will be here for a long time, people. Strap yourself in. Get ready. You're on a roller coaster. And they're not letting you off anytime soon. Yeah. The analogies, they always come out, people. They always come out. Eddie Nketiah is doing podcasts, by the way. I think with Pro Direct, which just winds me up even more, but we won't talk about that. Listen, big up to everyone locked in. 1.5K already. Trixie said, Xhaka, Aubameyang, Rambo, Tierney, all this Deadwood. Yeah, exactly. Some of them were good players he should have kept. The Arsenal exterminate all that's must there, even Master Master Splinter settings, man. Ninja Turtles business. Marco, big up yourself. I can't lie. This stinks of a story put out by Arsenal. We all knew he was going to sign a new contract. P.S. How do I watch the member streams? The link goes in the community tab, bro. I always put it in on the day I'm doing the member stream. I'll always try and remind you the day before. So apologies if you haven't managed to tune in. Listen, let's put it this way, right? And I've heard this in football before. And this happens, trust me. I'm sure plenty of you know. A player or a manager, sometimes their agent puts the story out on their behalf through somebody else. Football is a very cliquey sport, right? So if I've got a friend who works for a newspaper in Spain, I'm Arteta's agent. I'm not saying this has happened. I'm saying this does happen. Right, I need to get Arteta a new contract. What can I do? I ring my mate. Yo, what's going on? Yeah, quiet news day. Okay, put out a story saying Arteta's leaving. He'll do it because it'll sell newspapers. It went viral last night so that they win. The agent wins because he knows it's going to get his client a new contract, and the agent makes money off the new contract. Everyone's a winner. This happens in football, people. It is common knowledge that these things happen all the time. So it wouldn't surprise me if it even came from Arteta's agent to get him a new deal. And fair play to him. They're manipulating the game. Big up Marco's a new member. I think he was a member anyway. Big up yourself. Trixie said, Big C, instead of being right, you can just use this as ammo to start a movement to get him out. Come on, man. We got a try, please. There's no better start. Do you know what it is, right? I get what you're saying, and you know, sometimes I think, but there's so little energy for it. That's the problem. There's so little energy towards it. They're happy with what they're being fed, so they're not going to complain about it. Do you know what I mean? That I think there's so much fans of him and what he's doing. You can't even get that kind of energy towards him yet. It will get there eventually, but it might be too late. It might be too late. I hear you, though. Did you see Steph Curry rip his jersey? Hey, listen. Every now and then, my friend, you've just got to rip the jersey. We've been there. We've been there. What a game that was, by the way. Game of the season. Lakers against Golden State. LeBron and Steph. HCW, Big C, you do not like this manager. It's evident. Honestly, on a personal level, no problem with him. From a manager point of view, I don't see the major hype. I don't see that. That's the problem. And I've always said that. I don't sit here and say Arteta's a bad manager. I don't think he is. I think he's got potential. I just don't think he's ready for the Arsenal job. And I think that's why he makes mistakes. And I think that's why we're not winning major trophies. But it is what it is. Trust the process, they say. The Cone Man said, I feel physically sick. I'll never leave. He probably won't. He'll be here for a decade. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. What's he done for us to rate him? And that's my question. 1 FA Cup, 1 top 4. I'm not singing from the rooftops for that. I've seen top 4 multiple times at Arsenal, and I never really celebrated it that much. But modern day era is a bit different, isn't it? Let's move on. Let's move on, people. We will hear what he had to say in the press conference shortly. We'll finish off with the waffle, of course. But there's a few transfer stories that we're briefly going to go through and see if there's any truth to them and if Arsenal are going to do any business before this January window ends, which ends, I think it ends on Thursday. But Arsenal, once again, being linked with a move for Barcelona defender Sergi Roberto. I've spoken about him before. Mikel Arteta has reportedly shown interest in Barcelona defender Sergi Roberto with a view to Arsenal potentially making a move for the Spanish star in January. We've spoke about him before. 31 years of age. Barcelona apparently have informed him his contract will not be renewed. He has 6 months left on his deal. and they're not going to give him a new contract. So it looks as if he is available to go. And apparently Barcelona are even willing to let him go on a free in this window. Now, we spoke about it before. I'm not going to harp on about it for too long. Sergi Roberto, I mean, yeah, a few years ago, he was a decent player. 6 appearances this season, 3 goals. Apparently, Xavi wanted to give him a new contract. But the club refused, stating that they felt it was time to move on. He turns 32 next week. He can play right back. He can play centre midfield. What I said is that before is the same thing I'll say now. Sergi Roberto, for me, no chance. I don't want him, right? His best years are behind him. You don't want to bring a guy like this to the Premier League at this stage in his career. He's injury prone. He's past his best. He's definitely past his best. However, it's the same source, yeah, Sport, who were saying Arteta was leaving. So take it with a pinch of salt. However, it's the type of deal that you could see Arsenal going for. And you need to be open-minded of Arsenal doing this kind of deal. 30 plus years of age, past his best. You can get him for cheap. And they'll sell him to the football club by saying, look what he's won. Oh, it's Sergi Roberto. Sorry. I was calling him Sergi Roberto. Sergi Roberto. They'll sell him by going 31, Spanish international, won the Champions League at Barca, won the La Liga, won the Spanish Cup. That's how they would sell him to the football club, to the fans. Played right back, played centre mid. Same thing they did with Jorginho. Oh, he's won the Champions League, or he's won the Euros. 30 plus years of age. We've done it with Willian. We've done these deals before. It wouldn't surprise me if we did this. It wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal did this. It's a typical January bargain hunt signing. Big C will say I always rated him. Listen, I remember his goal against PSG, man. I think Emery was the PSG manager at the time. Personally, I've said before, I don't think Arsenal will sign anybody before deadline day. We know that they've been interested in getting in a versatile defender, preferably a cheap one or on loan. So maybe Barcelona would even say, take him on loan, pay all of his wages, and then that's him off the books. They're in financial difficulty. Obviously, a new stadium's being built as well. So listen, I think I can see by your comments, most of you don't want him, and why would you want him? The guy's been out of form for a long time. He's on a decent wage, and he's injury prone. What is there to attract you to that signing as a football fan? Absolutely nothing. He's a washed-up player. So Salman, who knows a lot about, but I think he lives in Barcelona. He said, I think Roberto will go to MLS, but he's better than our bench. I hear you on that, and like I said. You're not going to have 25 players in your squad that are of a world-class level. You are going to have players that are on the bench, and the reality is he's probably better than Cedric, for example. He's probably better centre mid than Mohamed El Neni as well. So, but listen, I don't think it will happen, but it's interesting. That's the second time that he's been linked with a move to Arsenal. So is there any truth in that? Let's see what happens with that one. Now, Assassin just put this in. I'm assuming, is this breaking news? Because I haven't actually seen this about Marcus Rashford yet. Marcus Rashford is reportedly set to be fined £650,000 a week, 2 weeks' wages for missing training. And again, I don't want to do the ITK thing, but when a few months ago, I spoke to somebody who has a good connection at Man United, and he told me a few months ago that Rashford wants to leave United. And he said it's because of the manager. Apparently, Rashford and Ten Hag don't get on. And I think you can see that. If you look at the whole dynamics, Rashford idolised Cristiano Ronaldo. Ten Hag bins Ronaldo. Rashford and Sancho, that was his boy at Man United. They were going on holiday together. He treated him... Well, you could say he treated him bad. Some people say it's Sancho's fault. So again, that created a difficult dynamic there. At times he's played Garnacho on the left, move Rashford to the right. I don't think those two get on. I wonder if Man United will cash in on him in the summer. I'm a fan of Rashford, but I'll be honest, this one is poor from him. I think he's lost his focus. I think everything that made Rashford a player, I think he's forgotten it. I think people say he's humble, he works hard, he's a Manchester boy, he'll always run through a brick wall for that football club. To me now, his mind's elsewhere. He thinks he's a superstar. You know, he's going to fashion shows. He's going out clubbing the night before training. I think he's lost his focus. I think he probably needs to leave. I think if Ten Hag stays at United next season, I think they'll get rid of him. And you could be right. You got to think, the guy grew up, you know, in humble beginnings. You know, I think his mum said at times she had to not have dinner so him and his brothers could eat. They had humble beginnings. And I do credit him for what he's done, you know, to the communities and stuff. But I think getting 350 grand a week has done something to him that hasn't helped him. I think in Rashford's head, he thinks he's Mbappe. He walks around with the ego of Kylian Mbappe. But you're not Kylian Mbappe, bro. He's won the World Cup, scored in the final. You ain't done that much, really. So I think he's got carried away, man. The money, the fame, the celebrity status, it's bigger than he actually is producing on the football pitch. So it's a shame. It is a shame because I thought he was a top talent, but it happens. Money talks, people. Money changes people, right? Anyway, let's talk about this guy, Emile Smith-Rowe. Another story. As I always say, people, it gets to a point where I'm like, I don't even want to report this news. Usually, as a content creator, I can't wait for the January window, or obviously the summer transfer window is the best one. But I was thinking January window, some good content, some transfer news. We might sign one or two. I just want this transfer window to finish. It's a complete waste of time. It's pathetic. I'm going to just skip through this story quick. Lazio have rejected the chance to sign Arsenal midfielder Emile Smith-Rowe on loan due to his physical issues. I mean, recently he's been offered to the club through intermediaries. I mean, that's a crazy story. Lazio, I don't even know. I'd never even heard of that. Lazio Armani or something. I don't know who that is. I mean, it's a terrible sauce. It's mayonnaise, it's barbecue, it's ketchup. It's a terrible sauce. Number one, are Lazio going to reject Emile Smith-Rowe? They're not that good. And physical issues, the guy looks sharp now. I don't think he looks... And Arsenal said they don't want to let him go anyway, so I think it's absolute nonsense. So I don't believe it. Big up Callum Plays, said it's my birthday today. Big up everyone, 3-point collecting tomorrow. Happy birthday to you, bro. Arsenal 14 said ESR should leave. It's better for his career. I think if ESR's in this situation in the summer, where he's still not getting game time, I'd be looking for the move if I was him. And I'm a fan of him. I don't want him to go. If he gets game time between now and the end of the season, then of course. Be Kind said it's Jack Wilshere all over again. I hope not. Gilgal TV said staying with the owner has made them being without ambition. Arsenal is just a club without ambition. Same also to the supporters. They are only happy of saying Spurs won nothing. Do you know what? I don't want to go off topic here, right? But I said this a long time ago, right? And I stand by this. I understand football rivalry. I get it. It's rivalry, especially your local rivals. Cool, I understand it. You look at them, and if they fail, you laugh. I get it. That's the game. I said a long time ago, Arsenal as a football club and as a fan base, yeah, enjoy if they struggle, but we need to stop focusing on Tottenham, right? We need to stop focusing on them. If we beat them, celebrate it, enjoy it, and cool. If they flop or mess up a big game, enjoy it. But Arsenal need to start looking at the teams ahead of them instead of looking at the teams behind them, right? You don't win when you focus on teams that don't win, on teams that lose. Why are you going to focus on Tottenham who haven't won a trophy in 16 years? That's irrelevant. I don't see Liverpool focusing on Everton the way we focus on Tottenham. We need to look at Man City. We need to look at Liverpool. We need to look ahead. You know what I mean? And that's what I think we need to do. Look ahead of ourselves. They don't win anything. So we don't need to be looking, you know what I mean, looking in the rearview mirror type of thing. But yeah, it is what it is. Let me read these members' comments as well. Snake Eyes, Arteta should stop copying Pep. He's been poor in my eyes. Prem or Champions League title, or he has to go. We have to start having uncomfortable conversation. Listen, I'm with you on that, but he's going to be here longer, even if he doesn't win those 2 trophies. Even if he doesn't. E. Ross said, Curtis, you said it best. This club, if you don't laugh, you will cry. And there you go. There you go. I always say you need a sense of humour to be an Arsenal fan because there's comedy involved. Let me tell you that. Trixie said, Arteta putting a roadblock on so many young talents in our club. Patino. Who's that? Man said sausage. I don't know who that was meant to say. Waneri, Saka and Martinelli starting to get frustrated. It's dumb. I mean, you look at it and you say, you give him some credit because he's helped some of the young players. He meant Sousa. I let you off. Pause, by the way. His autocorrect got the better of you, man. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, you look at the youngsters that are there, obviously, you know, your Martinellis and that. But those guys were brought through anyway. So you look at Klopp bringing through Trent, and he's brought through Curtis Jones. He's brought through Harvey Elliott. There's, is it Kwanzaa who's playing now as well? Why has Arteta not brought through young players? Why are we still playing, you know, Cedrics at times and players like that? Where are the youngsters? But yeah, Smith Rowe's another one who obviously his career has stalled under him, unfortunately. But we'll see. He meant so. Sausage and waffles, people. Sausage and waffles. It's crazy. But hey, big up yourself. Anyway, let's move on. I don't think Smith Rowe will be going to Lazio, that is for sure. And it wouldn't be a transfer story without talking about this man, Ivan Toney. Obviously, stories doing the round today. He won't be leaving in January. It's hardly breaking news, is it? No one's got the money to sign him anyway. I think in the summer he'll leave. I don't think he will sign that contract that they've been talking about. And then Arsenal will go for a striker this summer. Obviously, the 3 at the moment they're being linked with, Osimhen, Isak and Ivan Toney. I've said many times before, I would take any of those 3 strikers. I rate all 3 of them in different ways for different reasons. Osimhen, I think, is a very good goal scorer, but is slightly overrated his all-round game. Isak, I think, has a very good all-round game. My question would be, can he score more goals than the numbers he gets? And Toney, I think, is just a solid signing who scores a lot of goals, but maybe because he's nearly 28, that might put the club off a little bit, but he would be the cheaper of the 3. Isak would be very expensive. I think he would cost 80 to 90 million. Newcastle do need money. There are rumours they will have to sell Isak or Bruno Gomes to balance the books in the summer. So, listen, we have got no excuse to not get a striker this summer. Newcastle need to sell somebody. Osimhen has a release clause and Toney will have a year left on his contract. There is no excuse to not sign one of those 3. I'll be honest with you, I don't want a striker outside of those 3. Boniface, Sesko, all of those guys, to me, have too much risk attached to them. If we don't end up with one of those 3 strikers, I think it's outrageous. I really do. I'd take any of them. I would take any of them. But the disappointing thing for me is that I think a striker could have won us the title this year. So I know a lot of Arsenal fans are going, yeah, but, you know, we'll get a striker in the summer. But my question is, why did we not get a striker this year? Do you know what I mean? And I think we all knew we needed a striker. Gabriel Jesus was injured for 3 months last season. He got 11 league goals. It was a serious knee injury. We all knew that Gabriel Jesus is not a title-winning striker. We saw that after last year. So for him to roll the dice again and go, let's go for Eddie and Nketiah and Jesus, I think it was an outrageously poor decision. I really do. Vlahovic, for me, he just doesn't want to leave. He does not want to leave. There's talk of him signing a new deal. There's no point. Martinez from Inter, I don't think he's that good in the Prem, in my opinion, leading the line by himself. A lot of his success at Inter came playing in a 2, off Lukaku or off Dzeko. I don't think he leads the line that well by himself. But Big C, we got the hardest working striker at home. Listen, mate, if you see the amount of running that Eddie Nketiah does in training, you wouldn't want anybody, mate. You'd be more than happy with what he does in training, mate, running around like a lunatic. Melvin said, when will this show with Turkish be? Big up from Sweden. We're going to try and get another one out this week. We didn't do one over the weekend because there was no game, so we'll get one after Liverpool, hopefully Sunday evening, if not Monday evening. So we're just waiting for the talking points, really. But we'll definitely have one out this week. So we'll see with that. Ivan Toney. And Nketiah is the reason for this dead transfer window, said Elliot. You could say that Eddie/Havertz is the reason that we haven't signed a striker or gone for a striker in this window. Because we could have sold Eddie for 25-30 million to Palace. And we shouldn't have signed Havertz. And there would have been the money to do business. We could have sat on 65 million till the summer and got somebody, or we could have spent it in the summer on someone. So it is frustrating. It really is. You know, as I said, it's always next summer, next year, next season. When's it going to be? Now, this season, right now. You're in a title race. You need a striker. Why can't you buy one? You blew your money on a giraffe, and you refuse to sell players because you still rate them. That's the frustration. Assassin said, Curtis, from this list, who would you pick if you had the chance? Simeone, Inzaghi, Hansi Flick, Zidane, Tuchel, Mancini, Nagelsmann, Mourinho, Spalletti, De Zerbi, Conte, Thomas Frank. There's a few there. I would still take Simeone. People say the football ain't great. You watch Atletico play, they bang goals in. I'd take Mancini. He won the Euros 2 years ago. I don't think he's washed up. He's won the Premier League. He's won Serie A. I would take Zidane. Some people say, he only did it in Spain with Ronaldo. I don't care. He won 3 Champions Leagues. I'll take him. He's got way more pedigree than this manager had. So those would be the 3 for me. Those would be the 3. Mancini, Zidane, and Diego Simeone. They've all won titles. They've all managed in different leagues. They've all got pedigree. They were big players, and they've been big managers as well. So they would be the 3 for me. Salman said Zidane, Mancini. Mancini Premier League experience. He's won the Prem. He's won the Euros. He's won trophies in Turkey. He's won the league in Italy. Plays good football. Speaks English. That's where I would go. It's 4 years and we are competitive. Klopp won 1 title in 9 years. Bob, listen, as much as I disagree with what you're saying, because of what I'm going to explain, there is some fact in that. But what you've also got to factor in, Bobby, Klopp got to a Champions League final in his 3rd season, by the way, right? Arteta's in his 5th. Klopp won the Champions League in his 4th season. Arteta's in his 5th. So when you win a Champions League, that buys you time, my friend, and you know that. If Arteta had won the Prem, I'd be sitting here now saying, yeah, the brother's got a couple more years before I say anything, because he's got a whole heap of credit in the bank. Klopp, Europa League final year 1, top 4 year 2, Champions League final year 3, Champions League winner year 4. The standards are far different, my friend. He'd already lifted a Champions League winner, Champions League trophy by the point we're at now. So that argument ain't gonna wash with me, I'm afraid. But I hear you. McLovin said Mancini is the updated version of Arteta, style of play and big trophies. The guy's a winner. He won as a player and he's won as a manager. Is what it is. Stackademics, I called this in one of the previous streams. He might take a few players with him. Klopp lost the title with 97 points, exactly. Klopp was at a point where it was like, I can't do nothing more. I got 97 points. It would be one of the highest Premier League title points tallies of all time. And they lost the league with 97 points. That's more than the Invincibles got, bro. It's crazy. He was dealing with peak prime Manchester City that were going crazy. I know City won the treble last year, but I think you could argue we've actually seen better Manchester City teams than that team last year. I think the Aguero, Sterling, Leroy Sané front three was better than the Haaland, Grealish, and maybe, who was on the right? Maybe Foden or Bernardo. So we can't compare them. We just can't compare them. Comparing Arteta to Klopp is comparing dollars to donuts. It's ridiculous. Exactly. Cody mystified. If Barcelona took Arteta, how long do you think they keep him before they sign? Listen, Xavi is one of the best midfielders that's ever played for Barcelona. He won the title last season and the Super Cup, and they've sacked him 6 months later. Yeah, he walked, but he was getting sacked. He walked before they gave him the P45. Arteta would, one bad season at Barcelona, Arteta, he's out the door, mate. He'd be lucky if he got one season. Honestly, the Barcelona job is a horrible job to take, by the way. And Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world. You've got Lewandowski aging. You've lost Dembele. You've got no Messi. If Real Madrid sign Mbappe in the summer, the Spanish league is a write-off for the next 3 or 4 years. Rodrigo, Vinicius and Mbappe with Bellingham, Camavinga and Tchouameni behind it. Forget it. Wrap it up. That league is finished. So that Barcelona job, you go there 1 year, don't win the title, you're out, mate. You're P45. Before you know it, you're at Mallorca. You're the manager of Mallorca. Do you know what I mean? Going Magaluf on your days off. So he knows, if I'm Arteta, I can stay at Arsenal. I'm not under the same pressure. I've just got to get top 4. I'll get a new deal. The fans have got a cult following for him for some reason. And he can be here saying, trust the process year after year after year. Go to Barcelona, 6 bad months. They'll say, you didn't make it here as a player. We don't really like you that much. You never even played for Spain. They will bin him in 6 months. Happily as well. They won't even hesitate to bin him. He'll be at Mallorca before you can say paella. He'll be there. So he's comfortable at Arsenal. He'll get a pay rise, 10 million a year, trust the process. Top Gooners think he's unbelievable. And they'll go again, Anyway, let's talk about Mikel Arteta. He's done his press conference, waffle settings, all smiles. Oh, I'm so angry. I'm being linked with Barcelona. I'm fuming that I'm going to get a pay rise and a contract extension. Oh, God, I'm so furious. Why? Salman said he'll get 6 games. Trust me, man. Classico, 3rd game of the season. You get beat. You could already be on your way out. Barca are in serious trouble. FFP, serious debt. Listen, they're not even playing in their own stadium at the moment while the new camp's being built. It's horrible over there for them. Kamal said, if the Vinny rumours are true, would you target him? I don't believe him for a second. I think he'll sign a massive new contract. Why would Real Madrid let Vinicius Jr. leave? And he loves Real Madrid. So, of course I would target him, but it ain't happening. It's not happening, I'm afraid. Let's hear what the Cone Man had to say. He's on the training ground, all smiles, with the football in his hand. On the injury update, obviously we play Forest tomorrow. Let's look ahead. We need to win tomorrow. I'm sorry. We cannot drop points this week. And I include Liverpool in that. If Arsenal are going to properly challenge for this league, we have got to go to Forest and beat them and then beat Liverpool on Sunday. There's nothing else, in my opinion. Nothing else. We've got some late decisions. Thomas won't be one of those, but we have a few that had some issues at the end of the game that are still uncertain. So, as we said earlier, and he's confirmed it here, is Partey in the squad? Thomas is not in the squad. No, it's what it is. You want everybody available. He's a top player, really important. But at the moment, he's not fit yet. Obviously, he's been out for months. We knew that the match fitness was going to take a little bit of time. Maybe he makes the squad on Sunday. I don't know. All the rumours last week, all the clickbait that they was telling us, Partey will be involved against Forest. Then we get to Forest, Partey's not involved. What would you bet he's not involved against Liverpool as well? Will Rice be one of the late decisions? He is one of the players. He's done some work, but missed some work. Hopefully he's going to be okay, so he should be all right. He doesn't usually say that unless they are. On Gabriel's involvement, that's another one. Will Partey be involved against Liverpool? He said, we will see how it evolves and if that's too short or that's okay. On if the boss will leave in the summer, he said, who, me? Man still don't know he's the boss. He thinks you're talking to Pep. He said, no, that's totally fake news. When you read yesterday, I don't know where it's coming from. It's totally untrue, and I'm really upset. Yeah, I'm sure you're crying into your 2.5 million a year pay rise you're about to get. I'd be devastated as well. On the report that came out, I could not believe it. I don't know where it's coming from. It's got no sources. It's got nothing. And I think we have to be very cautious when we talk about personal things. To put it that way, it was put yesterday. Yeah, sound devastated, mate. On having unfinished business at Arsenal, he said, I'm in the right place. Oh, God. I'm with the right people. I feel really good about it. As I said many times, I'm immersed in a beautiful journey with this football club. These players, this staff, and our people. And I'm investing still a lot for them. We need some more red stripe! Oh, God. Do you know what? It's a good job I don't drink, because these lot, oh, my days, I'd be like prime Phil Mitchell. Nyamming waffles, sipping syrup. New contract means no Barca impact. Pause. And he can't be sacked with that Coca-Cola music. E. Ross said I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. I have to highlight the main bit. It's this bit. I'm immersed in a beautiful journey with this football club. I mean, I just want to ask a question to the community. Last season, did we win the league? Have I just woke up from a long sleep and I'm imagining the Forest defeat and the 2-2 draw at West Ham and the 2-2 at Anfield? Did this not happen? Did we actually win the league last year? That would be the beautiful journey for me. I don't know. It's a beautiful journey. What I want to know, my friend, is when does the journey end? I've been in this Uber taxi long enough. When am I going to actually reach the destination? And what is the destination? Is it Premier League champions? Is it Champions League winner? Or is it just continue to get top 4 and do what we complained about 10 years ago under Arsene Wenger? Okay. Yeah, bigger fish to fry, people. We're not even frying Nemo, my friend. McLovin said, Mikel Columbus. He's trying to discover countries that we've never seen. Maybe we're going to win trophies we never knew existed. Like the Dubai Cup, when we won the Dubai Cup. We won the Florida Cup as well, I believe. And of course, who can forget the old Emirates Cup? So, it's not the... It's final destination settings. Somebody just said I'm hating. Where is that? Dog, you're acting like a hater. Yeah, you're right. I'm hating on all the success that Arteta's had. The titles, the Champions Leagues, the multiple FA Cups, the League Cups, and the Super Cups. According to you, TK, I'm hating. Have a break. You're having 3 minutes. I'm not going to ban you. I'm just going to give you 3 minutes. Go and sit on the bottom step. Not even the second or the third step, unless you live in a bungalow. Sit on the bottom step. Have a little think. And then in 3 minutes, come back and maybe, word it a little different. There's no hate here, my friend. And to be hated on, don't you have to be successful? What are we hating on? The FA Cup Roberto Martinez won an FA Cup at Wigan. So consider your actions, 3 minutes, and we can discuss a little bit more if you want, my friend. There's no hating. I want Arsenal to win, people. People don't understand. The constructive criticism is because I want us to win. What's wrong with that? If Cruz goes to Sports Day and he finishes 7th, we're not celebrating. We're not. We got to go back on the track and figure out, did you start quick enough? What's going on? Are you driving the arms properly? I don't celebrate finishing 8th, 7th, and nah, that's just not how I was raised, my friend. Caribbean parents. Did you win? Nah, all right. Move. It don't matter. That's all it is. You come back, yo, how did Sports Day go? Yeah, 2nd. All right, no, next year, man, you do better, man. You do better. What, 2nd? Yeah, but I got a silver medal. Yo, bun that silver medal. Dash that in the cupboard. We don't hang up silver medals and runners-up trophies. I ain't on none of that. Caribbean household is different. You win or you lose. Yeah, African, enough parents. You win? No, all right. Move. Go on. immersed in a beautiful journey. Imagine me telling, yeah, I didn't win, Dad, but yeah, I'm immersed in a beautiful journey now. And me finishing 7th is, what's going to lead me to win. But hey, here's what it is. Participation trophies, people. On the boss' previous association with Barcelona, he said that's something we cannot control. It's part of football. On the boss's contract, I've got a strong relationship with the board, Edu, the team, and the ownership. Things come in a natural way, and we've always done it that way. It's been done really well. When the time is right, we'll have those discussions. On the manner of our performance against Palace and 3 consecutive losses, when the team performs the way we did and lose games, I was hoping it would not carry on that way. This is football. It can happen. I was very confident it was coming because I could not see the team the way it was playing and performing, how upset and angry they were not to have what they deserved. Let's skip it. On Forest potential absentees for AFCON, I see we can manage with our preparation. This is what we have tried to do. He didn't even speak about Forest. He's not interested. Emotional damage, says Andy. Trixie said, just watch the conference. Arteta slips up in answering about the rumour. When someone posts something personal or something I say, it's upsetting. Fair enough. I haven't actually watched the whole press conference. I only caught the end of it. Young Gunner said, I'd argue Klopp had a worse team than Arteta and a lower budget from day one, yet he achieved more in less time. No serious owners would keep him. Go and look at the team that Klopp walked into. Go and look at it. Look at some of the players. Joe Allen, Barini, Skirtle. That was not a serious team, people. Simon Mignolet. People say Arteta walked into a bad team. Cool, I get it. He walked into a team that had Emi Martinez in goal that has ended up winning the World Cup. You had Mesut Ozil. You had Aubameyang, who just won the Golden Boot. You had Lacazette, who just won Player of the Season at Arsenal. You had Pepe, who'd cost 72 million. There was some decent play. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, Mustafi, Socrates, these men were rubbish. But Klopp, go and look at the team that Klopp was running with. Go and look at it. Arsenal had a better team than the one that Klopp walked into. Trust me. Ricky Lambert and them, man. Come on. Man looked like a builder. It weren't serious, people. But hey, it is what it is. Trust the process. Amaru said, been a while. Hope the community is doing well. Big up yourself, bro, for tuning in. And community's always here. 2,000 of you in the chat. Big up yourselves. On Jurgen Klopp's legacy. Oh, no, I skipped that one. On Martinelli getting his confidence back after scoring. He said, absolutely, sharing the goals is important. For individuals, their confidence takes some anxiety away. And scoring 2 beautiful goals like we did is going to make him more positive. On Klopp's legacy in the Premier League, he said, I think he's made this league better. First of all, the person, the character, the charisma, and the way of transmitting his ideas and passion is special. He's had a big contribution for the growth of this league. I love the way he did it. The emotion he puts in. When you see the human side, explaining the reasons behind it and the challenges related to the job, I think it was spot on. When someone has done what he's done in the club and the league, you have to respect and say thank you, because he made the league better and every manager and this league much more beautiful. So he's giving Klopp huge praise. I have to say, even as a rival, I think what Klopp's done is remarkable. I really do. I think we live in an era of Pep. And I think if it wasn't for Klopp, the Premier League would be the French league. This would be PSG, Man City, just winning everything every year. Klopp is the only guy that's actually said, I'm going to give you some competition. He won the Champions League at Liverpool before Pep won it at Man City. He's won everything. LSU is on to me here. Let's see what he's saying. You keep banging the Emmy drum. He said his leaving was down to where his contract was then. His accomplishments came after his departure. He demanded number 1 to sign a new deal. No team does that. But I'd argue this, LSU, right? Emmy left because he wasn't guaranteed to be number 1, right? He was told, you're going to have to compete with Bernd Leno. He had a short period left on his contract, and Villa were willing to give him 60 grand a week. He was on 20 grand a week at Arsenal because he'd been second choice goalkeeper for a long period of time. Emmy's come into the Arsenal team. We've won the FA Cup with Emmy in the team, right? And I think most Arsenal fans could see in that 6 or 4 month period, Emmy looked better than Bernd Leno. I'm sorry, and I was saying it at the time in streams. I'm not saying it after the fact. He was better at commanding his penalty area. I think he was a better shot stopper. He was better with the ball at his feet. He was taller. He loved the club. Everything about Emmy looked better than Leno, in my opinion. So if Emmy gives you a choice, listen, I've got a year left on my deal. Either I'm number one or I go to Villa and triple my wages. The manager never guaranteed him to be number one. He made that demand. Am I going to be first choice? Manager said no and he left. I was gutted. I think he should have been told, listen, bro, what I've seen, you're better than Leno. Leno can go. And what didn't make sense is he sold Leno to keep... No, he sold Emmy to keep Leno and then replace Leno with Ramsdale. It made no sense, LSU. It made no sense. Why get rid of Leno and buy Ramsdale if Leno was the guy? I wonder, could he deal with Emmy's personality? Because Emmy is a big character. But anyway, let's move on. Emmy, for me, showed me in 4 months he was better than Leno. You could see it. He had too much presence. On if it's harder to be a successful Premier League manager now compared to previous years, he said, I cannot respond to that question. I've spoken with Arsene. He took his job like we all do. They put hours, days and weeks in. On how the boss keeps going with the same level of passion, he said, it's because I love what I do. I love every minute. I get joy of waking up every morning knowing I can drive to Colney. I'm going to meet these people and spend time together. He loves his team. And why the boss was angry about yesterday's reports. It's interesting how they're calling him the boss now. I told you, people have to understand. Cone Man music to the world and back. What have I been calling this guy for the past 4 years? The Cone Man. Mickey Rouse, the boss. And what they calling him? The boss. The boss. LSU's come back, said, you fairly state education. No team says that to that demand. No market for Leno at the time either. And I liked Emmy, yeah? Listen, the manager gets $8.5 million to make those decisions at the end of the day. And he thought Leno was better and then sold him. But hey, it is what it is. One is a consequence of the other. First of all, I'm cautious about talking. Let me skip it. On how we'll keep going full pelt for the remainder of the season. We've done it for the first 6 months. We've been there first at Christmas. Now we have to catch up. On the job Mikel has at this club, he said, there is a lot to do here as well. We all share that ambition. You can feel it, that we want more. We're not satisfied. The club want to take another push to another level in everything we're doing. This is where we are. Everybody's on board and I'm on board. If the boss had any contract discussions, he said no. On if the boss feels like he has taken the club so far, I always felt it was our team, my team. He's talking about the COVID situation, made his, you cannot forget it, then made his job more normal afterwards. Yeah, let's skip it. I don't want to read it. On whether COVID years had a big bearing, I mean, it affected everyone. On whether there is a big opportunity to try and dominate the league without Klopp. I mean, Pep Guardiola will have something to say about that. I'm not even going to read it. On whether Mikel could ever see himself managing another Premier League club. He said, today, no, but I don't know. I played for 2 great clubs in this country. I moved around in different things. I'm extremely young and I don't know what's going to happen. I said it before and I said it again. The Everton job is calling him, my friend. The Everton job is calling him. If I say that on Twitter, you know, they'll cry about it. Klopp obviously said he wouldn't manage at any other club. But it's... you know, he's clearly prepared to manage at another club. That Everton job, it's waiting for you, my friend. Anyway, let's move on. Let's concentrate on tomorrow's game. Forest against Arsenal. Send him to Everton. And let's look ahead, man. This has to be 3 points, nothing less. How are Arsenal going to line up? I think the majority of this team picks itself. If you've got any objections, let me know. David Raya is going to play, so let's... I'm not even going to do the whole Ramsdale discussion. It's boring now. He ain't playing. He'll be lucky to kick a ball apart from that Brentford game. David Raya will be in goal. Gabriel and Saliba. They pick themselves, no problem. Ben White will be at right back. And Zinchenko will be at left back. We don't really have any other option. Forest have got a few live wires. Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, Alanga. They got some pace there. The midfield, Declan Rice. And I know here, I always put the team that I think the manager's going to pick. Oh, no, I would not take a point, by the way. A point is Arsenal Therapy Wednesday at 2 p.m., by the way. This is Forest are struggling this season. This is Create Formation, the name of the website. A few of you have asked about it. I usually put the team that the manager is probably going to pick. But I'm sorry. I'm standing by this. I am sick of watching this guy, Kai Havertz. I'm sick of it. I do not want... There's two options for me tomorrow. If he feels he needs midfield stability a little bit more, you put Jorginho next to Declan Rice and you play Odegaard in the 10 for the two centre mids. But if you're prepared to play two attacking midfielders, play Smith Rowe left attacking midfield. I do not want to see Kai Havertz. I'm sick of it. He has been awful this season. Forget normal, what Kev said. He stunk out the place. He should not be starting. This will be a physical game. Forest, a physical team. This is not the game to play Kai Havertz. I would play ESR every single day of the week. The only other one, like I said, if he wants the double pivot and he plays Jorginho next to Rice. But if you're playing attacking mids, play Smith Rowe and Odegaard. Smith Rowe deserves a chance. What has Havertz done to justify keep getting picked? You know, apart from the fact you spent loads of money on him and, he makes good runs. He's a space invader. He's basically a packet of crisps that used to cost 10p, that cost about 30p now due to inflation. The front three, I was thinking about this. What would I do with this front three? So this is the team that I would pick. I'm going to be honest with you, right? Martinelli was on the bench against Palace, comes on and scores two great goals. I'm starting him, right? I'm starting him. I think his pace will cause Forest problems, hit them on the break. On the right, Saka. Again, I'm not going to hide from the fact he's lucky to be in the team because I don't think he's played well this season. But his numbers get him away with it. I'll play Trossard, false 9. I'll drop Jesus. You could potentially play Jesus out wide, but I would go with this. The reason I would do this is because Trossard looks more likely to score than Jesus at the moment. And I think in that false 9 role, he can actually play it well. You could play Jesus and bench Saka, but he ain't going to bench Saka. We know there's probably something in his contract. Now, the other thing, because Martinelli scored off the bench doesn't always mean you should start the next game, because maybe Martinelli has a better impact coming off the bench. So you could play Trossard on the left and keep Jesus through the middle. Jesus had a good game against Palace, but again, you're a striker, your team wins 5-0 and you don't score. As I said, you know at any level that you played the game, people, if your team wins 5-0 and you're up front, and you don't bag, you are disappointed, man. It doesn't matter if you played well or not. You should have hit the back of the net. I like this lineup, but I don't think it's going to happen. I personally think Trossard will start because Trossard played really well last game. And I think Martinelli will probably actually be on the bench, even though he scored 2 goals. I think he'll stick with Gabby Jesus because Jesus been injured so much this season. I think he will just stick with that front three. I don't think he'll play Smith Rowe. He'll squeeze the giraffe in the team because, you got to justify that 65 million, ain't you? I think that'll be the team. As I said, for me, I would absolutely play Smith Rowe ahead of Havertz, but somehow he's going to squeeze this guy into the team. Stronger Together said Havertz scores tomorrow. Listen, if he plays, I hope he scores a hat-trick. He's in the team. We're stuck with him. Bossard, Eddie and Nelson, says Tom. Tom, I'm assuming you support somebody else because if we turn up with that front three, we get beat tomorrow, my friend. So maybe you're a Liverpool fan. You want us completely out of the title race. But yeah, I feel like Trossard played really well last game. Scored a goal. You've got to play him. But do you play Martinelli after scoring 2 or do you play Jesus? He will not drop Saka. If Saka can walk, Saka plays. It's as simple as that. SG said, Big C, time to ask Kev about the machete for 29. I'm hoping to get Kev on this week. I think he is recovering from illness. So hopefully we get him on So be interesting what the team lineup will be. Nelson's average at best, said Sin. Simon said, with the low block, the game suits Trossard better than Martinelli. People forget that last year Leo had the second most assists with Salah with less games. I just wonder whether Forest will low block at home, though. I'm just not sure. Forest away from home, definitely low block. I don't know at home. Maybe because we're a bigger team, they'll be a little bit more defensive. But yeah, I'm not sure whether they will. Be interesting. Maybe they will try and hit us on the break. Let's have a quick look at the Premier League table. I think we'll win tomorrow, right? I do. And we have had bad results there, but I've watched Forest this season. I'm not convinced by them. 5 wins out of 21. They lost their last game. They've won 2 of their last 5. Obviously, Nuno Espirito Santo's the manager now. Forest are in a dogfight. You know, they're only 4 points off the relegation zone. Everton could get some of them points back on appeal as well. So they're in a bit of a mess at the moment. I think they've got the 4th worst defence in the league. Obviously, going back to the top side of the league, Arsenal play tomorrow. Did Man City play tomorrow? I just want to check, actually. If we're playing before them, is there a possibility of us going above them before they play again? So tomorrow, yeah, Man City don't play tomorrow. They play on Wednesday, Burnley at home. Easy work. That'll be 5-0. Liverpool play Chelsea at Anfield, although I don't really expect Chelsea to beat Liverpool, but you never know. So Arsenal have to win. We'll be back to second and we'll be 2 points behind. Liverpool puts more pressure on them when they play against Chelsea. And obviously we play against Liverpool at the weekend. So listen, let's keep it clear. Anything less than a victory is an absolute disaster class. We have to win this game. Put some pressure on Liverpool before we play against Liverpool at the weekend. Nuno Tavares on loan there. I would imagine with his loan, he wouldn't be allowed to play, but I don't think Forest have been starting him anyway. Latte said, just join, please tell me Arteta is leaving. It's not happening, bro. In fact, he's signing a new contract. So, listen, and listen, Stronger Together saying, look at the table, Arteta, we must win every game. And I know some of you will say, and I always say, some people will say, look, you're joint second. How can you be calling for his head? He needs to win trophies. It's not about where you are. It's about where you finish. And we need to start winning things. We are a massive football club. You know, 4 years, 1 FA Cup is not enough when you think about the money that he's had. But let's see at the end of the season if he does get a trophy. It's difficult. Listen, people, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate your time, your support. Make sure you hit the like button, share the content, subscribe if you haven't already. 6:30 tomorrow evening, I'll be live. 7:30 kickoff. Forest against Arsenal. Big game, must-win game. And hopefully we go 3-point collecting. If there's any big news during the day tomorrow, I'll go live at 2. If not, we'll wait until 6:30 and do it in the pre-match conversation before the game. So join me for that. And looking forward to it. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate your support. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.